And every day this week, we'll be celebrating one particularly prominent Ghanaian, somebody who is a great Ghanaian, a Ghanaian hero. And today's message is no different. It's called The Distinguished Gentleman. Let's see how much time it takes for you to recognize the gentleman of whom I speak this morning. Now, Rawlings and Daniel first met in 1978 during the World Military Games hosted by Nigeria. Daniel was the chairman of the Ghana Boxing Promotion Council and a member of the Ghana Boxing Authority, so he had official oversight of the boxing events, which were all to be held in Ghana. Now, the young Flight Lieutenant Rawlings was in charge of the military boxing team, and on the first day of the games, Rawlings headed for Burma camp, where the bouts were to be staged. He was running a little late, so he maneuvered his motorcycle through traffic as swiftly as he could. Now, when he got to the arena, he was alarmed to observe that there was nobody there. No cleaners tidying up, no workers getting the place ready. But on second observation, he realized that almost all the chairs were already set up. And then Rawlings saw him. Standing near the boxing ring was a very tall man. Moving at a slow but determined pace, this man was setting up the chairs all by himself. It was Daniel. The top national boxing official was setting up the chairs all by himself. Rawlings was struck by the quiet dignity with which this distinguished gentleman was doing things for himself in the absence of help. Rawlings went up to him and started a conversation. He learned that Daniel was not only a top boxing official, but also an appeals court judge. The fact that such a man would think nothing of spending his morning arranging chairs, although it was certainly not his job to do so, earned Daniel the complete respect of the passionate young Air Force officer. So a few years later, when J.J. Rawlings resumed military rule of the country, he could think of no better person to hold up to Ghanaians as the best example of the dignity and self-respect that he wanted us all to incorporate into our national identity. And so it came to pass that Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings called on Justice Daniel Annan to join his PNDC government. Now, throughout the tenure of the PNDC, Justice D.F. Annan was essentially Rawlings's deputy. And even though J.J. was the chairman of the PNDC, he usually let Justice Annan chair the actual council meetings. Later, when Rawlings became elected president of the Fourth Republic, Justice Annan was made Speaker of Parliament, a role which he distinguished himself in, earning the respect of all sides of the House until he retired during J.A. Kufuor's presidency. 5 years later, in 2006, the distinguished gentleman passed away. Now, as a Ghanaian, I spend a lot of time thinking about my country. I try to understand what our problems are and what we need in order to fix them. I ask myself, what is it that we are missing? And for me, the one thing we need so much more of is dignity. It's a part of our national identity that we seem to have allowed to diminish over the years. Here's how the Oxford Dictionary defines dignity: the state or quality of being worthy of honor or respect. Now, tomorrow, we will celebrate our 62nd anniversary as an independent state. When Kwame Nkrumah first led us to independence, the world applauded us for our determination to govern ourselves. Wherever a Ghanaian went in the world, they were regarded with respect and honor, with dignity. We were the Black Star of Africa, the trailblazers, the standard against which all others were measured. And the very best was expected of us. So much has happened in our recent history to punch holes in this character of dignity that the world used to associate with the Ghanaian identity. Today, we are the nation that airlifted cash to our footballers, the nation that has children schooling under trees, the nation that is stealing money from its own people and handing it all to cronies through crooked contracts, the nation that needs a bailout from the IMF because we are spending too much of our money paying ghosts on our payroll, the nation whose president says he's fighting illegal mining while his appointees take bribes to allow illegal mining, the nation that sells its children into slavery and then complains about the media house that exposes it because it makes us look bad. The nation whose politicians hold meetings to plot the insult, threat, and kidnap of their opponents just so that they can win power. Not a lot of dignity in that, is there? Today's Ghanaian hero, Justice D.F. Annan, reminds us of what dignity looks like. He stood tall in the center of our society, earning our respect, not by virtue of his age or wealth or academic qualification or professional accreditation, but through his actions. He was the true embodiment of Ghanaian honor and respect, and his life will forever remind us that we are capable of achieving such excellence once again. Today, we celebrate Justice Daniel Francis Kwepe Annan, the distinguished gentleman. My name is Kojo Yankson, and I am a Ghanaian. That means the quest for national dignity begins with me. Good morning, Ghana.
Well, so it is Ghana Month, so make sure that you celebrate somebody around you today. And we all hope that we can point out somebody who necessarily doesn't need to be a national figure, but somebody who represents a true Ghanaian for you to celebrate. Okay? If you know you have any such person in your community, you're watching us, please make sure that at least you can tag us on our Facebook page, JoyNews on TV. That will make us happy for the Ghana Month.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we have to bring you the latest news headlines up next on your screens.